Good afternoon. Welcome to my broadcast for today. I am so happy to be sharing this with you. I appreciate you for being here. Welcome. I am Sophia Antoine, and I'm your certified life and relationship coach. Today, I am sharing my Loc Journey, meaning my dreadlocks. Welcome, Amanda. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you. So, without further ado, because I don't know how lengthy this will be, let me go ahead and get started. I thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the shares. My replay viewers, your hearts and your shares do count too. So if you need any information at all, you can actually find it up there. That is my information bar. All of my links are there. So if you want to connect with me outside of Periscope, you'll be able to find anything that I offer right there. Okay? So I am excited to be sharing this. Actually, I can tell you that I've never, ever shared this story before. So, not in its entirety. I've shared bits and pieces of it, but this presentation was actually inspired by my Heart Tribe sisters, the Perry Girls, and I'll show you them in a moment. But if you're not a member of Perry Girls and you'd like to be, go to www.perrygirls.com. We have some awesome things going on for women broadcasters, so we'd love to have you. And this is not a commercial, but it is a commercial simply because the women that I connected with just really made me feel really comfortable, really loved, and just eager to share my story. So I'm still perfecting this pointing thing, so bear with me. So this. So if you want to go ahead and connect with the Perry Girls, we would love to have you. Go ahead and go to www.perrygirls.com and we will go from there. Let's see. Trying to get this together here. There we go. All right, so I'm in a subset of the Perry Girls, which is the Heart Tribes, and this beat I am with Kofi Williams. She is a fellow coach, and she has supported me greatly in my first beat back with Perry Girls, and that's her if you want to check her out. But the reason that the Perry Girls, my Heart Tribe sisters, inspired this actual scope was because we all have locks. So Kofi actually has sister locks. So they're a smaller, thinner version of what I have, and she's actually a sister lock consultant, I think it's called. So if I'm wrong, she'll correct me. But that's what she has. So there's two different looks. She's all carefree in one and all Miss Business Professional in the other. But either way, her locks are transitional, and she does a very good job in wearing them. So that's amazing. So again, thank you for the heart. So my other Heart Tribe sister is Nina. And Nina, wait, let me go back. I'm sorry. So Kofi, if you want it, she's on Periscope as well. So her handle is right there. So her name is Kofi Williams, and she's at Coach Kofi. And she's a women's empowerment transition. She's a women's empowerment coach. She's also a life transition coach, and she's a regular life coach. So definitely, if you need any of those things, she can do it for you. Now, Nina motivates. So I don't know if Nina actually calls herself a coach, but from the things she talks about, she could possibly be a coach. But her name is Nina Thomas, and she's at Nina Motivates. And if you guessed right, she's a motivational speaker. She's a baker that makes sweet treats, and she is also a fellow Perry Girl and Heart Tribe sister. So she's actually a comedic motivational speaker. So I can't watch any of her scopes without laughing at something at least. So if you need anything like that, definitely reach out to Nina or follow Nina at Nina Motivates, and she will be able to assist you. And you see her rocking the mohawk type locks. She has sister locks as well. So I have just like the regular dreadlocks. But the purpose of this scope is actually to share my Loc journey. The journey meaning why I got dreadlocks to begin with, and how my life progressed. Because my whole thing was, it started off, let me see what's next. That's me in 2009. I actually got mine in 2008. Late 2008. No, let's go back because it has to be put in context. It has to be framed for you properly. So in 2008, October, I got my locks. But 2006, 2007, my now husband was diagnosed with end-stage renal failure. So we were just going through a lot because of that, and it was a very tumultuous time. And I don't know about you, but I know a lot of women, when they're going through stuff, they cut their hair. And that's exactly what I did. I mean, I cut my hair. I'm not new to the natural hair thing, but I actually cut off all my hair, like within an inch of my scalp. So I figured, hey, I got to do something with it, so I may as well get locks. I've been wanting to try it for a while. My husband had them for maybe like 7 or 8 years prior. So I figured, why not try it? So that's what I did. This is actually a year in. Well, yeah, no, because I did it in October 2008. So this is early 2009. So not yet a year. I think this was about February. So that's me at the beach with one of my best friends. Well, she is the bestest friend. So I was at the beach with her there. But my locks were born out of a place of not knowing what to do, a place of confusion, a place of, I don't know what to call it, stress, a place of just, it was so different than anything I've ever felt. So that's what they were born out of. Then that's me in late 2010. I seem to remember us going to church that day, I'm wanting to say, but my hair had grown tremendously, and I really started to like it. I wasn't sure at first if I was going to keep the locks, but I really started to like it. So at this point, I had started going, I started trying to do it myself, and I had one heck of a time trying to get my hair to lock because I didn't know what I was doing. I started with two strand twists, just like I did these, what I have in now. Started with two strand twists. So I think I went to the beautician once, the loctician once, to really find out how she did it. And then from then on, I don't think anybody else ever touched my hair for the 8 years I had that set of locks. Okay, so we were at our favorite apartment, and this apartment complex has such fond memories for us. It was an amazing time that we had there. So I was happy. I was in a happy place right then. My husband was still sick with his end-stage renal failure. He had actually at this time been put on dialysis. He was first put on dialysis in May of 2010. So still going through a tumultuous time, but we were handling it. And things were pretty good at that time. So 4 years later, mid-2014, and I'm sure I took pictures in between there. I just couldn't find it. My hair had grown tremendously. Come to think of it. We were at our favorite coffee shop that has pastries and everything there. And so much had gone on in this period, in that time span, because in this one, we were not actually yet married. We were still in our apartment. This was a year earlier. Actually, my husband's grandmother had passed away. And this year, the following year, we had gotten married in 2011. Also, my grandmother passed away in that year. And in the passing away of my grandmother, I had to go up to Massachusetts with my family. Welcome in. I see two people here, but I wasn't able to see who it is. So Periscope's acting glitchy today. So welcome in. Thank you for joining. So my grandmother passed away, and we were going through some other types of troubles. Long story short, I was up in Massachusetts, and something happened at work and ended up losing my job. Coming home, I found a new job, and it just wasn't in time to catch up on everything. So we ended up actually being homeless at that time. So my husband and the kids went to stay with his mom, and I was staying in Miami to be near my job. So we were living separately for a few months until we moved to the place. I mean, it was literally a few months. We were living separately from, like, I would say August till November. And then they moved back in late 2011, and we're at the place where we were now. So we've been here since 2011 to right now, 2018. But I mean, this was a time we just took time off to go have coffee, I guess, and pastries. But the Loc Journey, I mean, it just continued, and I was so happy until, here we go, November. This is early 2015. We were in Orlando at a family wedding. So this was kind of the longest my locks got in early 2015. We were happy. We were carefree. My husband was still on dialysis at this time, and the locs kept growing and growing. This one, late 2015, is when it happened. He got called for a kidney. Now, don't get me wrong. Since the time he was on dialysis to 2015, he had gotten calls for kidneys, but they just weren't the right ones for us. So we rejected those. But this call in December of 2015, this was the one that we took. This was the one that was the one that God told us this was the one. So we went down there the night before. They called on December 9th. We went down there. We spent the night, got prepped, and the picture was actually taken December 10th, right before he went in for surgery. So this is around noon on December 10th, 5 days before our daughter's birthday. And yeah, that's the last time those locs went through the ordeal. It was that day that I completed my spiritual journey with my locs. But like we tend to do with a lot of things, we hang on to stuff after their usefulness has, after they've been useful. The usefulness has run out, so to speak. So, I got rid of them months later, because I still had to deal with, not only did he have the kidney transplant, after he came home out of the hospital, his bladder ruptured, because keep in mind, when you're on dialysis, you don't go to the bathroom, you don't urinate at all. Some people do, but he did. Most people don't, and he didn't. So his bladder had atrophied. So at the point where he had the transplant and he was using his bladder again, it was really very weak. So it actually ruptured, and he had to go in for a second surgery. So yeah, we spent the majority of December 2015 in the hospital, and yeah, I think like after the 15th, we were home maybe 2 days, and then we were back at the hospital for the rest of the month. I think we came home right before New Year's. So that was that. But still, at that point, the locs had completed their mission for me. So yeah, in 2016, July 4th of 2016, I took a safety pin and unraveled each and every one of my locs. A comb and a safety pin. I unraveled each and every one of my locs, and this was the resulting look. I was experimenting with new styles, because you have to understand, that's the first time I've seen my hair since, I've seen it, but I've not really combed my hair since October of 2008. So I was just doing different stuff. And I experimented with braids. So I tried that, and I really liked that look. So I had the braids, and I installed the micro braids myself. So that was a really fun look for me. So here I am, mid-2018, which means just a few weeks ago on my husband's birthday. And I'm back where I belong. Because I felt, and let me tell you, on July 4th, 2016, I took out my locks. July 4th, 2017, I put them back. And July 4th, 2018 was just my 1-year anniversary. So here I am, back in all my splendor, with my locks once again. So that was my loc journey. But let me tell you, it was such a spiritual journey. And a lot of people asked me when I did cut my hair, I always say cut it, but I took it out. Why? Because they were beautiful. They were beautiful locks. But like I said on the cover, like you saw on the cover, my quote is, "I'm not my hair." And let me just put that back up. Okay, so I'm not my hair, but it has the potential to tell my life story better than I can at times. And I can just tell you that I couldn't have articulated the things that we were going through, each individually and as a family. At that time, those 8 years were some tumultuous years, because we were so young when the illness struck, I mean, we were a young couple with 3 children, with a potentially life-ending disease. So we didn't know whether we were coming or going most times. So to have one less thing to be worried about, which was my hair, because everybody looks at your hair. They're going to look at your face. They're going to look at your appearance. They're going to look at, different stuff when people encounter you. And people are so often judged by their outer appearance. So I figured, hey, this was a style that I could maintain on my own, and it worked. So it worked. They served me well. So, and I make no, and let me tell you, what I tried to do is they started getting heavy. They started just really getting heavy, and it happened after the transplant. My locks weren't heavy before the transplant. So that I knew that the end was near. So what I did was I cut them. So they were the middle of my back, almost to my butt. And I cut them back up to my shoulders. They were shoulder length. So they still didn't feel right. They still felt heavy, as if I had the whole 8-year head of hair on my head still. So I just said, okay, now it's time. And my husband was so apprehensive because he cut them. He did the shoulder length cutting. And he was apprehensive, and he was like, are you sure? Because you can't undo this and all the hard work that you did. Because they were my baby. I cultivated them, and I twisted, and there were many nights that, I did different styles and I experimented. When you do new hairstyles. Oh, listen, I was a YouTube junkie. And that's when I learned how to make my first batch of whipped shea butter with the different ingredients. So I had learned this whole natural hair care regimen with these locks. So he was apprehensive, but he did it because he knew it would make me happy. And I can remember because he doted on my locks all the time. And I can remember when I first took them out, and I did want a scope. I don't know what it is, which one it is right now, but I cried. Because he told me he loved me no matter what. And it's one thing to know you're married to somebody and y'all are together, and people say looks aren't important, but they are. And that's something he was used to me having for 8 years. So I was just afraid he wouldn't look at me the same, because I knew they meant a lot to him. But he loved me anyway. So listen, I cried on scope. I expected to cry saying all of this, but I'm doing pretty good. But yeah, I was happy. I am happy. It was an experience that had to be had. Because those experiences where you wouldn't be the same without it. So this was one of those experiences. But when I finally, cleared out that spiritual space, and I was fine, and I took that year off to see where I wanted to go, that was necessary. That was needed, because you can't keep doing the same thing without going out and venturing to see if there's something else out there for you. But I found that this was indeed where I needed to be. So, like I said, on July 4th, 2017, I put them back in. And here I am with these locks here today. So, it wasn't the end. It's not the end. Every day is a new beginning. And I have the potential to start over new whenever I want. You have the potential to start over new whenever you want. So, I said all that, I guess, to get to this point, because people think that whatever type of obstacles they face, whatever type of people walk out of their lives, or people walk into their lives, or, a relationship is over, or they lose a job, whatever the circumstance is, somebody passes away, it's not the end. It's not the end. Their memories live on in your heart. Maybe you're better off without that person that just decided to walk away from you. But you have to make a conscious decision to start over. And there's no saying you can't change your mind. I went back after a year. Maybe you'll find something else you want to do after one day, after 1 minute, after, 1 hour. But you have to allow yourself to try something new, because if you don't, you'll spend all the time wondering what if. And that's the worst feeling ever. Well, there's a few worser. That's totally not right. But I knew that. But there are few feelings that are less heart-wrenching than wondering what if. You know, it's just awful that, you know, we live in a society that frowns upon changing your mind. You can change your mind. It's okay. I changed my mind about wanting locks and having locks. And you know what the real sticker is? This set of locks took the longest time. Like, they just really locked. They were there. My hair was twisted, but they just really locked. So I had made up in my mind, okay, if they didn't do what they were supposed to do, it would be time to get rid of them. And it's like, they heard me. I don't know. But they got in line. Like, it was that day when I did it. I think it was June 3rd when the last time I retwisted. They were like, okay, I want to be here. And this is a different feeling. The feeling I had, see, those other locks were born out of adversity. These locks are born out of love, because everything is okay now. Not everything, but you know, it's better now. So it's a new journey. I don't know how long these will last, how long these will stay. But when they get heavy, I don't mind allowing them to be free, allowing myself to be free, and then, you know, going on a different journey. But somehow we can do it with hair, we can do it with makeup, but we can't do it with our minds and our hearts and our bodies. So I'm just telling you, it's okay. Every day is a new beginning. You can start over. I mean, 24 hours. The clock resets every 24 hours. So I beg of you, don't stay in any situation that doesn't serve you. Don't stay. It's not worth it. So as I start to wrap up, and if you made it to the end, I appreciate you, because I know it was a pretty long, drawn-out story, and I kind of had to backtrack a few times, but I'm glad you stayed if you did. And I would just ask you to consider becoming a patron. So you can go to bit.ly, it all helps, and it's actually up there right now. But it helps me to reach out to other women who are having any type of difficulty. I mainly deal with women who have low self-esteem, women who are low in self-confidence, maybe because of their looks, because of poor body image, or whatever the case may be. But I reach out to women, and I give them services, give them worksheets, give them, you know, whatever it is they need, coaching, anything that I feel they may need or that may fit them in order to help them on their healing journey. So the donations start as little as $1. I think the tiers are $1, $2, $5, $10, and $25. So starting at the $10 range, and this is per month, starting at the $10 range per month, you get a shout out on my scopes for being a patron. So I shout you out, unless you just really don't want to be. So you'll have to leave that instruction with me. But you also get different stuff. You'll get a welcome packet. You'll get free hangouts, or free one-on-one sessions, or, you know, free group sessions, or stuff like that, just for my appreciation for you. They're not transferable, but if you find that you don't need it, maybe I can make an exception. If you reach out to me and explain the situation, I'll donate it to somebody else. Or you could specifically say, with you making your donation, you're doing it in this person's name. No problem. No problem. So just consider becoming a patron. It would be quite helpful. I would appreciate it, and I'm sure somebody else would appreciate it as well. Okay? So I thank you for joining me on me explaining my loc journey. Again, this presentation was brought to you by my Heart Tribe sisters. And if you want to become a Perigirl or find out more about what we're about, go to www.perigirl.com and go follow Coach Kofi Williams. She is at Coach Kofi here on Periscope. And Nina Thomas, she's actually the tribe leader this week, and she's at Nina Motivates. And if you happen to be watching this replay on Facebook, jump on over to Patreon. Jump on over to Patreon anyway. But come on over to Periscope and check it out. The reason why I don't usually go live on Facebook is because I can't do my fancy schmancy stuff. But thank you for your time and attention. I appreciate you. please remember, it's not the end. Every day is a new beginning.